You're about to meet somebody really, really special. When I first met our first guest, we were friends back in my Miami days. Ever since then, she's moved to Georgia and I moved to Massachusetts. We stayed in touch through Instagram, always wanting to collaborate. She's a dancer, she's an actor, and she's a model. She's an interesting lady because she loves Jesus and she does all these things while remaining composed as a believer. I thought it'd be interesting to sit with her and have this conversation. So we got together at an Airbnb during a break that she was having from a shoot in Harlem, New York. She's passionate about everything she does. Ladies and gentlemen, Jasmine Douglas.
Yes, of course I love sunflowers. They're beautiful. What's the first thing you notice with a sunflower? The yellow. But did you know it's one of the only flowers that have the most brown and black? Isn't that interesting? Well, the interesting part about that is that's us as human beings. Though we were born into sin, like when we're with God, like God can only see us for exactly who we are, which is the yellow, the bright, the beautiful. I believe that each of us are called to be that, to be a sunflower and to produce, because there are so many seeds in one sunflower, and we can make so many more people who are just like us. But at the end of the day, if you think about it, that's what we're called to do as Christians, right? We're supposed to be leaders so that people can follow me as I follow Christ.
So here we are in Harlem, New York.
Woo!
We're chilling with Jasmine.
Hello.
So what I love the most about being able to meet with you here in Harlem is that we both have history in Miami or in South Florida.
Yeah.
And then you went and moved to Georgia and I went and moved to Massachusetts. And we've been kind of handling our business and taking care of all the things that we're passionate about.
Yeah.
And I've been following you on Instagram, and I just love that you could be from Georgia and I could be from Western Mass, and that we could just come together in Harlem and do this.
Right.
Like, how cool is that, right?
Yeah, it's so awesome.
We get to do a shoot, which is the original idea, and I'm super excited about that because we're going to get to have some quality shots of a super dope model. But then this bonus of being able to have a few words with you and kind of discuss where you're at and catch up with you a little bit. I'm really excited more than anything else because of, I know your heart, I know your faith, I know your integrity, I know where you come from, and you're in this business, you're in this industry, and I know there's many different layers where people can get into this business and they can get into this industry, and it seems like where you're getting to shine is a place where most people aren't even trying to get into that area. How long have you been doing this?
Okay, so I actually started modeling specifically when I was 10. I moved from Minnesota to Florida, and my mom, actually, she put me in it when I was 10 years old, and I did it till like 16. But then I decided, I was like, man, I kind of want to have a normal life, and I was always leaving school early. Like, I'd go to school for like 2 hours, and then my mom would take me to a casting, and I'd do an audition, and then I'd come back at lunch, and everybody would be like, why'd you even come back? And I'd get made fun of a lot, which is so interesting because at that age, I know a lot of people like see it like, oh, it's so cool, you've been modeling since you were little, but really when you're young, like kids don't really get it. So,
and what were some of the things you were appearing in at that age?
Ralph Lauren, Kids R Us, Toys R Us, Macy's, Bernines, Lord & Taylor. I did a lot of work for Target and Walmart. So, it's so fun because my mom kept everything, like everything.
Oh,
and so there's like a full book of just like all of the things I've done. Yeah, no, oh God.
Where did this desire for your mom, come from to have you be in this industry? Like, how did that come about?
So, we started going to this church. It's called A Place Called Hope, and it was honestly one of like the best experiences ever. My mom and dad served there faithfully for 12 years, and they were under the leadership of Bishop Dwayne Swilly, and he was so intentional about youth, and he was so intentional about the arts. And he was like, listen, whatever we can do in this world, we're going to make sure that these kids know what the arts look like, whether it's theater, singing, acting, dancing, creating, even modeling. Like whatever we can do to like infiltrate the industry, we're going to do it, because that's what we're called to do as Christians. Yep. We're not called to be in a bubble. We're called to like go out and like make followers of Christ. And so with that, there was a lady in our church, her name was Gina, and she was like, listen, put your daughter in modeling. And then my mom was like, I don't know, it's kind of sketchy, it's this and that. She's like, no, like just do it.
Like what are some of the things that as a believer, whether it's in your church or maybe the view from other Christians, or even the view from people who don't go to church? Like I know that where I'm from, doing photography, whether it's glamour or fashion photography, it can be seen as kind of sketchy as well. Mm-hmm. And believers will tell you, hey, you really shouldn't be doing that. It doesn't kind of fall in place with what you should be doing. You're glamorizing this or that. And then there are people who don't set foot ever in a church, and they're just dead set on like, what are you doing? That's not what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
You're supposed to be poor, and you're supposed to be living in a hut. And
right.
Like there's just so many preconceived notions. So talk to me, did you have to deal with any of those?
Like a lot. And it's so interesting because my parents are both pastors. And so when people ask me like, oh, so you're a model and you're an actress and you do this whole thing, and like, so your parents are pastors, like, how does that work? Does God like that? And I'm like, what do you mean does God like that? And it always comes down to like, everything is a choice. Yeah. And we have a decision that we get to make. We don't have to take every job. We don't have to do everything that they say. Even though, yes, you sign a contract, you get signed to an agency, and they pitch jobs to you, and there's a lot of money that goes into it, and a lot of money that you can get paid. But you have to go into this thing knowing who you are, knowing whose you are, and knowing your standards and your morals. Like, I'm not gonna take my clothes off. And if you don't like that, well then I guess we're not gonna work together. But thank you so much for the opportunity. And thank you for seeing something in me that you wanna use for your product or your line or whatever the scenario looks like, or your role. And so everything is a choice. I think so long term, and everything that I decided that I wanted to do before I even started, when I got back into modeling and acting, was like truly seeing like life for what it is. And where I'm at right now is I want a family, and I want my kids to look back and when they search my name, because the internet is something, you know, it's not like it's fake, it's real. And they search Jasmine Douglas, they're gonna be like, Mom, like you did that thing with that person, and why'd you do that? Why were you wearing that? I don't want them to question who mommy is because of what I decided to do for some cash or for some exposure. No thank you. And I know that God's favor reigns over our choices. And at the end of the day, whatever I decide to do, He sees my heart. And I thank God for like the people in my life, because that's something that's so important. You have to run it by somebody else. I think that there's definitely a facade on like the way a Christian should live. Like, oh, we shouldn't be glamorous. Like, we shouldn't have money. We shouldn't have nice things because like we don't let money run us. And like, if we let money run us because it's the root of all evil, then we're not really living for the Lord. And it's like, wait, that's not our call. Like, God wants us to be prosperous. Like, He wants us to like have dominion on this earth. Like, we should be thriving in our passion. But now, oh my goodness, I'm in this place in my life where, because I've chosen to say no to the things that I know that I do not stand for, because I chose, God has blessed me.
would speak from personal experience when I would say that at the end of the day, this show is called Passionary People.
Woo! I love it.
And passionary people are people who are going to take leaps of faith. They're going to take chances. They're going to take risks. I came from Massachusetts, 3-hour drive to come hang out with you.
Yeah.
And there is not a penny involved in this.
At all.
On either part.
Right.
And we're just doing this because we love it.
Yeah.
And so I'm really, really proud of you. I'm really happy that you're working and that you're doing what you love and that you're doing it with such integrity, with so much love and so much passion. I give you your props.
Thank
give you your shout outs, and I'm just really proud to know you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jasmine.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
All right. That's a wrap.